Hi, thanks for coming back for another episode of Wildlife Wednesday with me, Cranefly Carson. Today, we're at high elevations in Virginia, probably 6,000 or 7,000 feet in elevation, and we're going to be walking along the Conway River here in Virginia, looking for whatever neat wildlife we can find. Big rocks, such as this one, can be good habitat for lots of wildlife. Right here, if you look closely, you can see some moss growing on top of the rock. And the moss is home for lots of other invertebrates, such as insects. If you look down here, you'll see some lichen, It's pretty cool. Lichen is actually a relationship between fungi and algae, so it's actually two little organisms living together in one there. How about that? It's amazing how much you can learn by looking at the forest floor. In fact, right here we see a couple of pine cones. Now, a normal person might see these and not think anything of them, but a naturalist like myself would see a pine cone and think that there's probably some pine trees around here. In fact, if you look around, there is a pine tree right here. See that? If you look closely, you can tell how its needles are really long and thin instead of leaves like regular trees. One of the most important lessons about being out in wildlife is to make sure that you never litter. Litter can be very bad for wildlife and hurt the environment. See, here's an example of litter. A soda can that was probably left here 80 or 90 years ago and it still hasn't degraded. So remember, always think about your actions before you litter. Whenever you're around a creek, it might be interesting to turn over some rocks to see what you can find underneath. Like right here, we have a couple little beetles. But always put the rocks back where you found them. Even if you don't see any wildlife around, you can still find the evidence of wildlife. For example, look at this stick right here. If you look closely at the top of the stick, you can see that it's been chewed away. Now, that kind of chewing might be from something like a beaver. Beavers are known for their chewing. See that? A beaver's been here. You can see from that sign that this is a special regulation trout water. And that means it's good for some fly fishing. You can see my fly rod right here. I've been fishing for about 3 hours and haven't caught anything yet, but maybe this next cast will be the lucky one. Well, thanks for joining me today. This has been a really great episode. I'll see you next time on Wildlife Wednesday.